We are kicking off Raw with round 2 of the WWE Tag Team Tournament. 2 semifinal matchups this week. One here on Raw and the other later in the week on Smackdown. This one, the Trick Mello gang, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, taking on Gallus. Mello and Trick last week advancing with a little assistance from Jimmy Uso. They defeated the Tongans, the former WWE Tag Team Champions, via countout. Gallus earned their spot in round 2 by defeating Imperium, and looks like Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci not too pleased with that result last week, as they jump Gallus on their way to the ring. Very similar to what happened last week when Trick and Mello took on Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. This one looks like they are going to get started here. Mark Coffey and Carmelo Hayes, and Hayes taking advantage of the assist by Imperium. Again, no disqualification. The attack, we can't even say the altercation, the attack took place before the match officially beginning. Wolfgang coming in to make the save, and Mello with a drop kick to Mark Coffey. He sends Coffey into the barricade. And for the second week in a row, Trick and Mello advance via countout. They punch their ticket to the finals coming up at Summerslam. And they will meet either KO and Sammy or the Creeds. Next up, we've got Zelina Vega headed to the ring. She is going to be going one-on-one with a former WWE Women's Champion, Shayna Baszler. Baszler, who back at WrestleMania won the China Memorial Battle Royal and went from that win to a title shot the next month at Backlash, where she defeated Becky Lynch to become the new WWE Women's Champion. She would eventually lose that championship to Bayley. Since that time, she has been clawing and scratching and fighting to get back into the title picture. A win here against Zelina would be a great way to keep moving in that direction. But Zelina, on the other hand, still in our universe has not held a championship. And since coming over to the WWE at this last year's draft, she's definitely got her sights set on some championship goals. And Zelina, in what I would call an upset here on Raw, getting the victory against Shayna. Let's see where Zelina can take this momentum from here. Now we've got Finn Balor. Balor here in singles action. We saw him last week in round 1 of the tag title tournament. He and Damian Priest, defeated by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now here this week, he will meet Seth freaking Rollins. Rollins, who already has his plan set for SummerSlam. He's going to be taking on the Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker. It looks like the Badass is going to get a front row seat here and see his competition in action. Generally, these ringside visits don't go without some sort of an incident. But hey, we got to take the champ at his word. He's just out here to watch, not looking to get involved in any way. Rollins with a knee to the face of Balor. And again, dropping the knee down on the forehead of Finn Balor. These two going back and forth. And Rollins sends Balor out onto the floor. Now Rollins with a few words for Breaker. Braun, who has gotten up from his seat. And now more words exchanged. And Rollins moves out of the way and sends Balor into Braun Breaker. The champ is down on the ground. Rollins sends Balor back into the ring and will go back to work. Goes for a cover. Only gets a 1 there. Balor moving out of the way. Now we're seeing a little bit of offense out of Finn. But Rollins able to get out of the way. Curb stomp. That could be it. Rollins with the cover. And that is going to do it. Seth Rollins, your winner. Big win for Seth. And Breaker back in there as he attacks Rollins from behind. And like a rabid dog, he is in attack mode. Rollins never saw it coming. No way to defend himself, and the badass having his way with Seth freaking Rollins here. You gotta wonder what kind of condition Rollins is gonna be in. We are just a couple weeks away from SummerSlam. Rollins may be on the shelf. Next, we've got Ivy Nile representing Team Angle, the Olympic gold medalist, the coach of Team Angle, in her corner, taking on Naomi. Right now, the women's division in both companies, WWE and WCW, definitely at the peak. This is the best that both of these divisions have been. And these are two ladies that are looking to make their mark here in the WWE women's division. We mentioned it last week. Team Angle, they're all in pursuit of gold, whether singles gold, tag gold, or in the case of Ivy Nile, women's gold. Naomi, though, with a cover. And Naomi picking up the win here on Raw against Ivy Nile. It's a good win for Naomi. Now it's time for our main event here on Raw, and it's going to be the WWE United States Champion Bobby Lashley. Title not on the line in this one. But the champ main eventing Raw this week. He will be taking on Jacob Fatu. The Bloodline hoping for a little bit of a better week this week than they had last week. And Jimmy Uso again. He continues his attacks on the members of the Bloodline. This time jumping Jacob Fatu before the match even begins. We've seen him cost Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa in the tag title tournament. We saw him attack his own brother, Solo Sikoa, on Smackdown with a kendo stick. And here on Raw, jumping Jacob Fatu as he makes his way down to the ring. I know the wise man is beneficial to the whole bloodline. But now may be the time that maybe Tama Tonga or even Roman Reigns starts accompanying these guys to the ring. Because Jimmy on a mission as a one-man army with his brother now exiled over in WCW. Jimmy, the one-man army, taking the war to the bloodline. And from a number standpoint, that may not be the smart move. But so far, he has gotten the better of the bloodline. Lashley with a spear from the middle rope. Goes for the cover. And Lashley with the win. No offense from the Samoan Werewolf. And now Jimmy making his way back out here into the arena. Jacob Fatu now sees him and starts making his way up the ramp. These two going back and forth verbally, but I don't think it's going to stop at a verbal altercation. And now this one getting physical. These two trading punches back and forth. The bloodline has to be getting frustrated as Jimmy Uso gets the better of the bloodline once again. WCW Nitro is on the air. We're going to kick things off here with the megastar LA Knight as he goes one-on-one with Bobby Roode. You missed last week's Nitro. Knight made an uninvited appearance as he got involved in the match between AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre. It looks like that did not sit too well with the phenomenal AJ Styles. Knight costing Styles last week. He attacked Drew McIntyre. Drew would get the victory by disqualification. And while that match was not for the WCW United States Championship, you got to think that AJ feels that that loss could potentially hamper his contention potentially for that title. We know how LA Knight is, though. He could care less who he upsets. In his mind, if he has got a goal or he's got a destination he's trying to reach, he doesn't mind stepping on through or over anybody that might be in his way. And Knight's fairly new to WCW. Coming over in the draft this past year, he spent his whole time on the WWE side. AJ has been the foundation of WCW since the start of our universe. And you got to think he doesn't think too kindly to maybe some of these newer superstars that have, maybe in his mind, invaded his house. Whether it's LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, now the new WCW World Heavyweight Champion. And AJ will pick up the victory here as we kick off Nitro. Gets a little payback, but here comes the Scottish Psychopath. And he lays out both Styles and Knight. I guess if in his mind these two guys are gunning for that United States Championship, might be better to take the fight to them instead of waiting for them to bring it to him. Next, we've got tag team action. JD McDonough, Ridge Holland, the Leftovers. And if you're new to the universe, we will get into why they are the Leftovers and why they are a team here in our universe. Here tonight, they will be taking on the D'Angelo family, Tony D'Angelo and Stax. They haven't been in the universe long, but they are one-time WWE Tag Champs. Very briefly, but they are in the record books. Now, for those of you new to the universe, if you want to know the backstory on the Leftovers, at our last draft, both of these guys were involved in tag teams and factions. Ridge in the Brawling Brutes with Sheamus. JD McDonough in kind of a slimmed down Judgment Day. It was just him and Finn here in WCW. Both Sheamus and Finn would get drafted over to the WWE, leaving their respective partners behind. During the draft between myself and our guest general managers, we decided, let's have a little fun with these two. Let's put them together. Let's name them the Leftovers. And while they are a new team, they're still trying to work some things out, trying to figure out their partnership. Here, though, in this one, it's the D'Angelos that get the better of Ridge and JD. But the Leftovers still trying to figure it out. The D'Angelos pick up the win. Up next, we've got Apollo Crews. As he will be going one-on-one with Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura, like a lot of the talent here in WCW, really trying to figure out where he fits in. You know, we've got a new landscape here. The roster coming out of the draft really got boosted up. I mean, we've got Cody Rhodes here now, LA Knight. Guys that were at the very top of the WWE roster. So for a guy like Nakamura, he's trying to kind of see where he fits. He is a former champion. In WWE, he was a United States champion. Here in WCW, he is a former tag team champion, as well as former television champion. Much like we saw with AJ earlier in the night, I kind of get the feeling that Nakamura is not just going to sit by and let these new kids in the school kind of take over. Kinshasa there to Apollo. And Shinsuke Nakamura picks up the win. Good win for him here on Nitro as he defeats Apollo Crews. Next, we've got Isla Dawn being accompanied to the ring by Alba Fire. She will be taking on Miss Money in the Bank, Bianca Belair. Bianca, also fairly new to the WCW. She came over in the draft. And I feel like every match we're talking about the draft, but so much really got shook up, especially when you think of the WCW side of things. Bianca, a former champion in WWE, former Royal Rumble winner, coming in with a solid resume. And coming into a division on the women's side here in WCW that's stacked. I mean, I think both women's divisions right now are at the strongest they've been at any point in our 3 years of the open mic universe. We did see Ricochet successfully cash in the men's briefcase. We'll see if when the time comes for Bianca, if she will have the same success. Bianca hooks the leg. And Bianca Belair is your winner as she defeats Isla Dawn. Where will Bianca look to cash in that briefcase? Will it be here in WCW? Or will she use it as an opportunity to get back to the WWE? Now it's time for our main event. This one is going to be between Despicable Ray, the leader of the LWO, and the most hated man in the universe. He's got a rematch coming up at SummerSlam against Cody Rhodes for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. But here in this one, he will be taking on WCW's newest superstar, main event, Jey Uso. He lost the WWE World Heavyweight title via cash-in by Ricochet. And because Ricochet was on the WCW roster and he was successful in that cash-in, that meant as a result of losing, Jey moves over to WCW to replace Ricochet on this roster. And with all the fighting going on with the Bloodline, and his brother left all alone in WWE, Jey exiled here to WCW. We saw him last week pick up a win in his WCW debut against WCW television champion The Miz. Now Ray catching Jey kind of slipping a little bit there. Former champion taking advantage of it, hooks the leg here, but only gets a 1 count. And looks like Ray doesn't want any of this as he's walking away. But the WCW World Champion says, not so fast. We've got a main event. These people have paid their hard-earned money. We're going to finish this one in the ring. Float over DDT by Jey. Cody, a man of the people, looking to give the people what they want. Uso with a headbutt off the top rope down onto the floor. Spear. Goes for the cover. And main event, Jey Uso is your winner here in our main event of Nitro. Another big win for Jey as his time in WCW is just getting started. Welcome to WCW Thunder. Kicking things off here tonight, Natalya taking on Jade Cargill. Something that we've kind of highlighted over the last couple weeks is just how strong the women's divisions in our universe is right now, both on the WWE side and WCW. And as time goes on, as we're into year 3 of our universe, it just seems like it keeps getting better and better. We've seen some new signings over the last couple weeks. Lyra Valkyria here in WCW, Nia Jax over in the WWE. Here we've got two ladies who've had some success in the universe, but the one thing they don't have on their resumes is any championship runs. Jade, who back at WrestleMania 1 did win the inaugural China Memorial Battle Royal, has had some title opportunities, just hasn't been able to come away victorious in those opportunities. Now that we're out of the Great American Bash tour, it's kind of almost like a reset here, and we'll see how some of these superstars respond and move forward as we're back to business here in the Open Mic universe. Next up, we've got triple threat action with some ties to the WCW tag team title match coming up at SummerSlam. Representing the New Day, Kofi Kingston. Representing the WCW Tag Team Champions, Chris Sabin. And the third competitor in the mix in this one, representing the OC, Carl Anderson. Now, coming up at SummerSlam, we do have a rematch for the WCW Tag Team titles. The New Day going to get another shot at the Motor City Machine Guns. We saw back in Memphis of the Great American Bash Tour. That one ended in a double countout. They're going to run it back at SummerSlam. We saw last week on Thunder, the New Day took on the OC, and after the match, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley would come out onto the stage and show some respect to Kofi and Xavier Woods. And there's a lot of respect on both sides for their opponent. We do have some breaking news, though, regarding next week's Thunder. That respect that these two teams have for each other is going to get tested. As we head towards SummerSlam, next week on Thunder, we're going to see Xavier Woods teaming up with Alex Shelley to take on the Authors of Pain. The respect, like we said, is there. But what's going to happen when you've got to rely on somebody that you're going to be going to battle with in just a couple weeks at SummerSlam for the WCW Tag Team titles? Next week, they're going to have to work together to get through a hell of a challenge with AOP.
Making her way to the ring from Columbus, Ohio.
Next, we've got Alexa Bliss making her way down to the ring. She's going to be taking on the Queen, Charlotte Flair. We have not seen Charlotte since the final Great American Bash show in Greensboro, where she would lose the WCW Women's Championship to Raquel Rodriguez. The Great American Bash as a whole was both good and bad for the Queen. She would start off the tour on Night 2 in Washington, D.C., recapturing the WCW Women's Championship. She would have two very successful title defenses along the way. First, against Lyra Valkyria, and then in a rematch against Raquel Rodriguez, she was successful in that one. Raquel would earn one more shot to face Charlotte on Night 12 in Greensboro. And in that one, Raquel was successful. And so now that we're back to our regularly scheduled programming, our weekly shows, our monthly pay-per-views. That's right, guys. Here in the Open Mic universe, we don't have PLEs. We're old school. We've got pay-per-views. Charlotte picks up the win here against Alexa. And And you know she's got her eye on Raquel Rodriguez and the WCW Women's Championship.
Making his way to the ring from Moscow.
Next up, it's our WCW Cruiserweight Champion, Ilya Dragunov.
WCW Cruiserweight Champion, Ilya.
He will be taking on Grayson Waller.
And his opponent from Sydney, Australia.
Now, we found out last week
At 206
who Dragunov will be defending the WCW Cruiserweight title against at SummerSlam. It's going to be Santos Escobar. Santos, a former WCW Cruiserweight champion himself, defeated another former Cruiserweight champion, Dirty Dom, in a number one contenders match to see who would go on to SummerSlam to challenge Ilya Dragunov. That match, not without controversy. We saw out of nowhere Carlito, who's not in the universe, show up, and here he is again. This time trying to take off with Dragunov's Cruiserweight title. Ilya able to regain his property there. Oh, and Grayson Waller taking advantage of Dragunov's attention being paid to Carlito. Again, first of all, what the hell is Carlito even doing here? He's not in the universe. He shows up last week, gets involved in the number one contenders match, which leads to Santos winning and moving on. Shows up this week, tries to steal the Cruiserweight title. And while his appearance and distraction didn't cause Ilya Dragunov in this one, but why is he here? And what's with the interest, the sudden interest in the Cruiserweight division? It's main event time here on Thunder. And it's going to be a big one. Big Bronson Reed taking on the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Now, these two did sort of meet during the Great American Bash Tour. The two of them, along with LA Knight and AJ Styles, who coincidentally here over the last couple weeks we've seen still have some business with each other. The four of them did meet in a number one contenders fatal four-way for a shot at Drew McIntyre's United States Championship on night 12 of the Great American Bash in Greensboro. Lesnar would win that fatal four-way and would come up short in the title match. These two meeting for the first time one-on-one. And Brock with a lot of intensity in this one. Look, we've seen over the course of our universe, Brock hasn't had a whole lot of success. And that's something that the Beast is not used to. One thing that we've heard from a lot of the superstars is they kind of view coming out of the Great American Bash Tour and this new time here is almost kind of like a reset period. Like a new season, a new year. Bronson misses with the tsunami. And now Brock taking Bronson to Suplex City. And if this is indeed a reset, a new season in the universe, as Brock is victorious in this one, and somebody like a Brock Lesnar is able to get refocused, get their career back on track, it could be a great time for a Brock Lesnar, but a very dangerous time for the rest of WCW. SummerSlam is a week away, and here on Smackdown, we've got a big one. We're going to kick it off with Braun Strowman taking on Gunther, but the Tribal Chief will be here tonight. He will be addressing the Jimmy Uso situation. We will also find out who will be joining Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams at SummerSlam for the vacant WWE Tag Team titles. We're getting word that there's something going on in the back. Joe Coffey attacking Gunther. Doesn't look like Gunther's going to be making it out there to take on Braun Strowman here tonight. This all started in round 1 of the tag team tournament. Gallus defeated Imperium. That didn't sit too well with Ludwig and Giovanni, as on this past week's Raw, they would attack Wolfgang and Mark Coffey before their match with the Trick Mello gang. And that attack would actually lead to Trick and Carmelo moving on to the finals. And it looks like Joe Coffey not too pleased with Imperium sticking their nose in Gallus' business. Hopefully this one will actually make it to the ring. We've got Dakota Kai taking on Bayley. Bayley, a former 2-time WWE Women's Champion. And Dakota still looking for her big break. If you look back over the last 3 years in our universe, Dakota's kind of just been there. Nothing really of importance or of note. And now that the division, we talk about it a lot. We talked about it on Thunder, that the women's division in the WWE and WCW as strong as it's ever been in our universe. And maybe seeing the new ladies that are coming in, some of the ladies that are having success for the first time. Obviously, we saw Piper Niven. She was the one who defeated Bayley to become a first-time women's champion. And maybe Dakota seeing that, maybe that's kind of motivating her to try to hit a pivot point in her career. Obviously, it's not going to get any easier. The competition definitely stronger than it's ever been. But there's a phrase, iron sharpens iron. And if you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best. And if Dakota could find a way to defeat Bayley here, that'd be a great first step. She delivers a forearm to Bayley. Bayley in some trouble here. Dakota goes for the cover. And that's going to do it. Dakota Kai, your winner. And that is a huge win for her here on Smackdown.
Making his way to the ring, accompanied by
now we've got Tommaso Ciampa. He will have Johnny Gargano in his corner here in this one. DIY taking a little break from tag team competition. Ciampa's got his hands full as he will be taking on Karrion Kross. And as always, Scarlett in the corner of Kross. We saw Kross when he made his return to the WWE at the last draft. Really tried to make a name for himself right out of the gate. He targeted the guy that I would say was probably the MVP on the WWE side in year 2 of the universe, Seth freaking Rollins. Didn't really work out so well for Kross. But I like where his mindset was. He had some success in his year in WCW in a very fluke fashion. He was WCW World Heavyweight Champion for a short time. And in this one, he will pick up the win over Tommaso Ciampa. And the rest of the men's roster in the WWE should take note and also be warned that Karrion Kross might be coming after you next.
The following contest
It's the final semifinal match
on the way to the
to
ring.
see who is headed to SummerSlam
115
to take on the Trick Mello Gang for the vacant WWE Tag Team titles.
and their opponents at a combined
Creeds last week defeated Country Strong Style, Braun Strowman and Cameron Grimes. Their opponents, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, defeated the Judgment Day pairing of Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Now, for the partnership of KO and Sami, this is kind of KO and Sami Volume 2. When the universe started, they were a team, they were together. For virtually all of year 2, they were bitter enemies. Then, in the lead up to WrestleMania 2, they got back together again. And since that time, they've really actually been stronger than they've been at any other point in the universe. They're hoping that this time, maybe they will see some success as a tag team. Obviously, their opponents here, the Creeds, really taking their game to a whole other level since coming under the coaching of Kurt Angle and joining the new Team Angle. They're really finding themselves in a great opportunity here. If you can get past Kevin and Sami, no offense to Mello and Trick, but I definitely feel that puts the Creeds on a much easier path to becoming champions. Sami with a haluva kick to Brutus rolls him over. But Kurt Angle distracting the referee, and that buys Julius enough time to come in and break up the count. Sami back in, Julius back in, clothesline from Sami Zayn. Gets Julius up off the mat. Blue Thunder Bomb. But Brutus able to come in and stop the count. Another haluva kick. Sami hooks the leg. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn with a huge opportunity at SummerSlam. And look, Trick and Mello looking to try to get a leg up on SummerSlam as they attack their opponents. If you can find a way to get Kevin and Sami, or both, not at 100% heading into your match at SummerSlam, that could be a huge advantage. And here comes the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns. Over the last couple weeks, we have seen Jimmy Uso attack and cost all the members of the Bloodline. And Roman Reigns has seen enough. He has got an offer for Jimmy Uso. If he wants the Bloodline that bad, if he wants a shot at the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, then at SummerSlam, Roman Reigns is offering a Tribal Gauntlet. If Jimmy can defeat Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa in a handicap match, then defeat Solo Sikoa in a fight pit, then defeat Jacob Fatu in a last man standing match, he will get the Tribal Chief in an Iron Man match, in a Hell in a Cell for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And it looks like Jimmy Uso is accepting that offer, and he will look to try to defeat the Tribal Gauntlet at SummerSlam.